Okay. I rest my case. I rest my case.
Okay. So we'll be starting soon. We're about to go live on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. I rest my case.
We are live on YouTube, so please I ask that we mute our soon. We're about to go live on YouTube. I ask that we mute ourselves. So welcome again to the Undergraduate Study Abroad Webinar. And my name is Catching Up with Ola. I'm the host for today's webinar. And with me, I have an undergraduate student from Miami University. So I'm just going to give her like 1 minute to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Michelle.
And with me, I have an undergraduate student from Miami University. So I'm just going to give her like 1 minute to introduce.
Oh. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because the thing was echoing. So yeah, I said my name is Michelle. I'm an undergraduate at Miami. So yeah, I'm in my second year. I'm studying biomedical engineering and I just declared my minor in neuroscience. And yeah,
Okay.
that's it, I think.
Right,
yeah, from Akwa Ibom in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. No one is asking about your state though, but thank you.
Oh yeah, from Akwa Ibom.
So like I said earlier, don't feel comfortable with asking questions. I'll put in a Google Jamboard when it's time for you to ask questions, and you can drop your questions in there in case you don't feel comfortable with talking in public. And also because we are streaming via YouTube, in case you just want to like hide your identity, because I do understand that there are some questions that are sensitive. So when I sent out the link, I asked that people ask some particular questions. So I'll be answering some of the questions before we go into like the live question and answer. So the first question is, I want to know if there are universities abroad that offer scholarship. I want to know if there are universities abroad that offers full scholarship to undergraduate students. And I also want to know if SAT is required to get a full scholarship. So
if what? SAT?
If SAT, SAT, SAT
okay.
is required to get a full scholarship. So the thing is, there are schools in the US that offer full scholarship to undergraduate students, but it's very rare to find full scholarship for undergraduate students. Because unlike graduate students, like a graduate student will work for the university and they pay the tuition, but like undergrad student, there's literally nothing per se that they are doing for the institution. So while they get scholarship, it is rare to find a school that will give you full scholarship for being an undergraduate student. Although there are other external scholarships that people have applied to in the past, like the MasterCard scholarship and other different scholarships for undergraduate students. And there are also some schools that fund undergraduate students fully, but it's just rare to find them. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah,
and
yeah, they're also
okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You know, you're the undergraduate students, so go ahead.
So yeah, I just wanted to say there are also schools called like need-based schools. So when they give you admission, you declare your need and they cover everything. They cover everything. So like even if the fee is like 80K and you can only pay 10K, they'll cover the rest of the 70K. And so like, yeah, there are those schools, but like those schools are like highly competitive. They have like 4% acceptance rates. And like, so yeah, the schools are really competitive to get into. So yeah, need-based schools. If you go to like Google and type need-based institutions in the US, they'll probably like give you a list.
Yeah, but like I said, never say never. So like you can apply to those schools, but also make sure you have been other safe option schools. Then another person asked, I also want to know if SAT is required to get a full scholarship. So SAT is not to get a full scholarship, but I would say SAT is not required for admission, but I don't know about getting a full scholarship. I think for I would not say SAT is always required. So
yes,
like
since COVID, since COVID, like the schools waive SAT. Have they brought back SAT again?
I don't think so. Like Miami is still waiving SAT. Like there are so many other schools that are still waiving SAT. So, but for full scholarship, like she said, like maybe you can check those need-based schools out and you can see if they actually require SAT as part of their admission process. So you can, find out if they require SAT. So the next question is, how can I apply for a fully funded scholarship in the US to study music or chemical engineering while I'm in Zimbabwe? So for this, I feel like it's the same process to apply for scholarship in the US. I don't know if this person is talking about undergrad or graduate, but since this is undergraduate webinar, I'm guessing this is an undergraduate question. So the person said, while I'm in Zimbabwe. So I'm going to say that it's the same process to study abroad for every country that is international, of course. So how to get a fully funded scholarship? Like you said earlier, you can type for need-based schools. And if you are looking for like partial scholarship, just apply normally. I'm going to drop a link or where she shared her admission story in the chats. So kind of like you can check the story out where she shared about her admission story. So if that helps. Another question is, would really love to learn on the admission process. Of course, that is what this webinar is all about. Can HND be accepted to do masters? This is another. Can HND be accepted to do masters? This person is asking about
HND.
HND is higher national diploma. Like when you go to polytechnic, like that is the degree you get. So yeah, HND can be accepted. And if you check through my channel, I've done a review of schools in the US that accept HND for masters. I'm going to drop my channel name in the chat section, so you can just check through and look for whatever applies to you. Another question is, did I need to pay for visa after I've received a fully funded scholarship? Yes, you need to pay for visa. A fully funded scholarship is supposed to cover your tuition, except if you are, because I know there are some external scholarship that they will tell you they will do everything for you, except if they indicate that they are doing everything for you. If they did not indicate, you have to pay everything that brings you to the US. Like you have to pay your visa, you have to pay your service fee, you have to pay your flight fee. So don't think that fully funded scholarship will automatically cover everything that you need to do to get to the US. Fully funded scholarship is just to cover your tuition, but you still have to pay other things. Then another question is, will there be any application fee required? Of course, application fees are required, but there are some schools in the US that waive application fee for international students. And there are some schools that they might not even indicate it on their portal that they waive international fee for students, that they waive fee for international students, but simply by asking. I've had people that have asked in the past and they got fee waiver for their application.
Me too, I asked. Yeah,
exactly. So you could ask. And, like what I tell people is, it's better to ask and get a no than to never ask at all. Because if you don't ask and like you have a friend that asks and the person got it, of course you feel bad because you will be like, oh, I should have asked. So like the last thing they will say is they no, but always ask your questions. Then another question is, low fees undergraduates in software engineering, SAT exempted USA universities. Like I said, I already reviewed like a list of 50 universities in the US that are not accepting the SAT score. So you can go through my channel. My channel is Catching Up with Ola, and you can, just check for videos that like pertain to your specific situation. Another question is, how do we go about it? Of course, that is where this webinar is all about. Like I said, you can check her admission story where she analyzed how she went about getting her admission and how she went about getting her scholarship. Another question is, will it be possible to make the webinar about the host speaking and the attendee typing out their question instead? I'm not very comfortable talking publicly. That is why we have a Google Jamboard. You can input your questions in there. Then another one is how to get admission in the US without writing international exams, e.g. SAT, ACT, test of English proficiency, and etc. So there are a lot of ways you can get admission in the US without writing international exam. I think the biggest international exam for undergraduate students is the SAT, because most schools actually waive the test of English proficiency as long as you get a good grade in your English, or as long as you speak English in your country, because I would not say for countries that don't speak English in their country, but as long as you speak English in your country and you get a good grade and you can prove that the mode of instruction from when you were little has always been English, they will automatically waive the test of English proficiency for you. And also, like I said earlier, I already reviewed schools, like 50 universities that are not accepting the SAT or ACT exam for international undergraduate students. So you can check those schools out and see if they align with your interest, and you can apply to those schools.
Yeah, like me, I never wrote an English proficiency test. Yeah, I never wrote IELTS or TOEFL because like Nigeria is considered in a native English speaking country. So yeah, anytime they ask like whether are you from a native English speaking country, you put like yes, ask which, and when they bring out a list of options, Nigeria is always among it. So yeah, once you like and identify that you're from Nigeria, I don't think like most schools, like all the schools I applied for, didn't ask me for English proficiency.
Yeah. And also to add to that, like it's not only Nigerian that are on this live. So
Yeah,
like
no, Nigeria.
like just kind of like see is the official language in your country English. If it is English, then you can apply without doing the test of English proficiency, and also ask questions. Like even if it's not on their portal, you can ask them questions. That is why
Yeah, always send them an email.
yeah, because they will always reply. Like I feel like when I was also in Nigeria, like I used to feel like, okay, when you ask a lot of questions, they might get tired of you. No, that is why they are getting paid. They are getting paid to actually answer your question. So if you have questions, instead of just doing anything that you like, if something is convincing to you or confusing, like instead of doing anything that you like, just send them an email and ask questions. Like every step of the way, they would be ready to guide you. I even know some schools that would offer somebody to help you when filling out your application. Like there will be somebody there to like help you when filling out your application. So just ask them questions and they would answer you. The last question before we move on to what this webinar is actually all about: are there fully funded scholarship for undergraduates, especially nursing, and is SAT is SAT compulsory, and what range do we need for the SAT scores? So are there fully undergraduate scholarship for undergraduate students? Yes, they are. Like she said earlier, check for need-based schools. Are there scholarship for undergraduate students? Of course they are. Especially nursing. If there's scholarship, irrespective of the course you are studying. For undergrad, it's only graduate that is specific on the course. But if there's scholarship in a school, irrespective of the course you are studying, there's scholarship. And is SAT compulsory? No, SAT is not compulsory, especially with the advent of COVID. A lot of schools are now waiving SAT. A lot of schools have even cancelled it as a requirement with the advent of COVID. So SAT is not compulsory. And I'll say it again that you should look through my channel. I already reviewed a list of 50 universities that are not requiring the SAT. Then what range do we need for the SAT score? So I don't know about this, so I'm going to leave one for Michelle to answer. So let's imagine that somebody wants to take SAT. What range do you think they need? Like for a good SAT score, what range do you think they need?
But good, I mean, SAT scores depend on the school. Like they all depend on the school. The range depends on the school. Like if you go to school's websites, they'll tell you like the range of SAT score and the GPA. Everything depends on the school. But if you're asking what a good SAT score is, like a good SAT score, I would say like 1-3, like 1-300.
Okay.
When you get like 1-300, you know that you're like one of the competitive students. Like you are one of the top students. Once you get like 1-3, 1-4.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I would say good. But there are a lot of schools that like admit below 1-3. Like it all depends on the school. They'll tell you the SAT range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll move to the question, and I'll put the link to the Google Jamboard in the chat section. And you can also ask your questions if you don't want to use the Google Jamboard. Like you could also like just unmute yourself or raise up your hand and we'll call you to ask your questions. So I have somebody that dropped the question in the description box. Sorry, in the chat box. The person said, I got admitted to a US college, but not a full tuition scholarship, but merit-based scholarship. Is there a way I can go about this? I'm not sure I understand the question, but maybe Michelle understands it.
Yeah, so like she got full tuition, but she did not get full tuition, but she got a merit-based scholarship. Like those scholarships they give based on your application, based on like your achievements. So like yeah, there are some schools that do not give full tuition scholarships to international students. So yeah, So they only give merit-based scholarships. First, you need to find out, does that school give full tuition scholarships to international students? If they do, then I guess you can simply ask. Like, asking goes a long way in the US. Like, everything, you just need to ask for it. Just tell them, send an email saying about like your financial situation, like why you really need this scholarship, why you really need a full tuition scholarship, and then they can consider you and grant you. That's if they give full tuition to international students. If they don't, they can decide to add more money to your merit-based scholarship, or just find out if they do give full tuition.
Okay, something else I want to add to that is like the US is actually very generous when it comes to funding. US is not like other countries where they are just like, we need your money, like we don't give scholarship and this and that. The US is actually very generous. And I know something that Michelle shared when she was sharing her admission story was that she was like, like there are other schools that are giving me more scholarship and I really want to go to university. So you could also use that approach and be like, like this is the university I want to go to. This is the university that aligns with my career goals.
Exactly.
But
this other school is this other school is like giving me more money, but I really want to go to your school. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you can use that approach, even if they are not.
Okay. So another question, Ayola, you just mentioned that there are institutions that does not require the SAT exam. I want to ask if there's an exam requirement to enter the US institution, if SAT is not required, I mean. So like the exams that are required is the SAT the SAT or ACT or the test of English proficiency. And we already ruled out the test of English proficiency because there are some schools that would tell you if you speak English in your country, you don't have to write the test of English proficiency. So that is ruled out. So is it that SAT or ACT? So if SAT or ACT is not required, you don't have to write any exam. There are people that don't write exams and they find themselves in the US. Even for myself, graduate students, I did not write exam and I'm here studying in the US. So you don't have to write exam. I know like a lot of people have told you that, to school in the US, you have to write exam. No. All you need to do is like research the schools you want to apply to, know their requirements. If they're not requiring you to write exam, I see no reason why you should waste your time writing exams. If you're not required to write the exam and you get scholarship, I see no reason why you should waste your time writing exams. So I think I've answered the question. If SAT or SAT is not required and the test of English proficiency is not required from your school, you don't have to write exam. And now that a lot of people are asking about SAT, I think I'm just going to put that video in the description box. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying description box. Maybe because I'm used to
YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in the chat box.
The link in the description box below.
So that we just, so that, you can check those schools out. And
somebody's raising their hand though.
What?
Somebody's raising their hand.
Wait, I'm coming. Okay, before we take another question, who was raising their hand? TechnoSpark 4. You can start by introducing yourself. You're on mute.
You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The
network is bad.
We can, but it's faint. You can type in your question if your network is bad.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question is, do we need proof of fund even with scholarship? It depends on the scholarship you get. If you have a deficit, you definitely need proof of fund. And deficits mean that, like, for instance, if your overall tuition or the overall money you need to study in the US is like 40,000, and you got scholarship of like 20,000, you still have deficit of like 20,000. Like, it's like the money you still need to add. So with that, you need proof of fund. And you need proof of fund, like when you want to get your I-20, because they won't give you your I-20 until they see that you have enough money to cover your tuition. And you also need proof of fund when you go to the embassy. Although it's not all the time that the VO would ask you for your proof of fund. It is always
For
better.
current case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always better to be safe than sorry. So if you know you have deficits on your I-20, or if you know you have deficits, make sure you have proof of fund. You need proof of fund when you have a deficit. Let's see YouTube. Even though I said we will not take any question from YouTube, but let's see. Any other question? Okay. Ayola, please, I want to ask about the steps to take when seeking an admission to an institution abroad based on any country. So what I tell people is that the first step to take is to research for schools, is to like try to say, like, of course, you know the course you want to study, irrespective of the degree you are going for, undergrad, postgraduate, research for schools, because with school search, you get to know what the school is requiring from you. With school search, you get to know if you should write exams. With school search, you get to know, okay, some schools even have essay. You get to know, okay, is this school requiring me to write essay? So after searching for school, you apply, especially if it's like undergrad admission, you apply. And maybe when applying, like they ask you, would you need like funding or scholarship or something like that? And then you tick yes if you need funding. But if you feel like, oh, I'm so rich and I don't need funding, you can maybe post or something. And when the admission comes, you can, like, if the admission comes and they are not really giving you the funding you want, or they didn't really give you a lot of funding, you can ask for more funding. And that is why I referred you to like the video Michelle talked about her admission story, where she like gave like a step-by-step detailed on how she applied for the admission and how she got scholarship. So you can also like check that video out. Like I said, my channel is Catching Up with Ola. You can check that video out and like listen to like all the steps that she said she took, and you can also like do those things. But the main thing is, the first thing is to search for schools. That's the first thing, is to search for schools. Michelle, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, research and I'll just search. Yeah, start your process with research.
Okay.
And also Common App. Like I like to say Common App because Common App is always like very easy. When you find schools, you can open a Common App account and just add all your schools there. An application is easier like that. So yeah, just start with like research and a Common App account, and you can go from there.
Okay.
Get your transcript ready, letter of recommendations. Yeah.
Okay. So there's this question on YouTube. The person said, why is it hard for undergraduates to get full scholarship?
That's my question.
So that's your question. Okay, so why is it hard? It is hard because, okay, so for graduate students, like you are working for the school, you are doing something for the school. You are either teaching undergrad, or you are doing research for the school, or you are in like administrative position. So that way it is easier for them to pay your tuition because you are doing something in return. Like, of course, you have like undergrad level. For instance, I'm going to mute you just so people can hear me. Okay. So for instance, like an undergrad student that is just coming into 100 level, like freshman year, you can't teach people because you are also coming to learn. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Of course, graduate students are also coming to learn, but you already have like you already have like a brief of what undergrad is, so that way you can teach undergraduate student. But like undergraduate student, like someone in freshman cannot teach somebody in freshman because you are literally here to learn. So that is why it is kind of difficult to get a fully funded scholarship for undergraduate student, because they are not doing anything for the school. Because the major source of scholarship in the US is what they call graduate assistantship. That is for graduate student, but it's difficult for undergrad to get it because they are not doing anything for the school. But however, if an undergraduate student gets a partially funded scholarship, the person can come on campus and the person has like money to like pay for the deficit. The person can come on campus when it comes to like living expenses. The person can come on campus to get on-campus jobs. On-campus job, but like as an international student, you can work on campus for 20 hours. The on-campus job will help you, although I'm going to say that on-campus job cannot pay for your tuition, because what you are getting is free. But it can help you with living expenses, like, you know, like getting money for textbooks, getting money for like accommodation, things like that. But it cannot help you pay your tuition because the money is little. Like it could be like $12 per hour. I think the highest money on my campus for on-campus job is like $18 per hour, which cannot pay your tuition, because as international students, you're only required to work 20 hours a week. So that can pay your tuition. So just make sure that you are able to like align your interest properly before applying. But yeah, that is why it is kind of difficult for undergraduate students to get fully funded scholarship, because they are not doing anything for the institution.
Yeah.
Do we have other questions?
Okay.
I'm hungry.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm Aflabi by name. I'm calling from Nigeria, and I'm going to ask a few questions about this undergraduate scholarship. Yeah, that was last year, and the proof of fund they were asking me, it was what I couldn't get, and I was unable to talk to my counselor. So that's why I just got to miss the scholarship, and I didn't have to go to Indiana to partake in the scholarship. So when I was given the scholarship, I was given $1,000 because it's not fully funded, it's partially funded. They had to pay $7,400. No, they had to pay $14,500 for me. So when I could calculate it in Nigeria currency, that should be 8 million naira. Then I was like, okay, if I could get a place to just get a loan to pay up ransomly, like to pay up the rest balance of my school fees. So they're like telling me I'm meant to work 20 hours per week. And I was like, can't I get external job more than that? They were telling me no. For a student like me, as an undergraduate, I'm meant to work 20 hours per week. And they were like issuing me, is it $20 for that 20 hours? And because according to what he said $18 can't pay a school fees, a tuition fee, right? So likewise, $20 can't pay a tuition fee. So likewise, where I was asking the question, why can't they issue an undergraduate to have an external job rather from them working like 20 hours? Why they can't work 24 hours or 48 hours and just be like that?
Okay. Because that's the law. Like it's not from universities, it's the law in the country. Yeah. Like Americans don't, I would say they don't like immigrants, because it's true. They just want you said you want to come and study. Oh yeah, come and study. Like that's your main goal. You study and you go back to your country. So like they don't want you to come and be earning like money in the US.
Yeah. And I'm also going to say that, like, kind of like adding to what Michelle said, like the US is actually very strict on like their immigration policy. So as a student, you are only permitted to work. The reason the school had to tell you that is because they are protecting you. Like they don't want you to have like issues in the future. Because like everything is documented in your bank account. You file for tax, everything is documented. Particularly maybe one day in the future, you want to change your status, and because you were able to not like do the right thing. So that's why the school was protecting you.
Yeah.
However, a way to fund yourself is, which is something I'm going to explain to you. If you have someone in the US, or if you have somebody, maybe not somebody in the US, like if you have like a rich family member that is willing to like pay your tuition for you, like a loan, and you can give them, and you can like, they can get the money back maybe when you graduate or something, you can do that. Another way is you could get a student loan. And for your student loan, you need a co-signer. And your co-signer, not for all students.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not for all.
for some student loan, you need a co-signer. And your co-signer has to be in the US, either a permanent resident or a US citizen. So maybe you know somebody that maybe your family member or like a friend to you, or that is like a US citizen that can help you co-sign the loan. Of course, co-signing the loan is also a big deal because, you know, like, and the reason why they need the co-signer is because they know you are international and they know you can go back to your country at any point in time. And they don't want a situation whereby you will not pay them back their money. So they need a co-signer that, okay, if this person wants back to their country, you'll be the one in charge to pay the loan. So that's why a lot of people might not want to co-sign for you, but if you could get someone that will co-sign for you, that is also another way. Another way is to struggle to pay your maybe first 2-year tuition and get an internship. With internship, with internship, you are permitted to work 40 hours during the summer. That way, people actually raise their tuition fee that way, because with internship, you get more money. Internship within a month, you could get $5,000, you could get $4,000, depends on like the company you get to work with. But within a month, within 2 months, I've heard people that within 2 months, they were able to reach $12,000 with internship. So with internship, you could raise your tuition. So you could also do that. So you could literally like, you know, just try to like, you know, push yourself to pay for the first 2 years of tuition and bank on your internship. But something I'm going to say, like I said earlier, is on-campus job cannot pay your tuition because the money is little. The only way on-campus job can pay your tuition is maybe your deficit is just about $1,000, but anything more than $1,000, $2,000, on-campus job cannot pay for it.
Even $1,000, almost. Like, sure.
Yeah, some people actually, some people get on-campus job that pay them, like for people that work like $18 per hour, like
okay.
By the time you multiply it in a month, it's going to be like 2,000 or 1,005 or something. So that way you can stick, and then you can do like a payment plan. Now it's not just 1 month, you can do like a payment plan where maybe it's $200 you are paying per month, but it's very rare to see somebody that has deficit of 1,000 anyways. So yeah, I hope we answered your question. So the SWI is literally just trying to protect you. But yeah.
Then okay, yeah, and again, the proof of fund is what I don't really get. Is it a must to have that? Let me just say $38,000 in my account.
Yeah.
Before I could tender that proof of fund.
Yeah.
Or can't I just, maybe, for example, I go to my bank here in Nigeria to create that proof of fund with.
Is it just me?
It's not if I do such. Is it going to be a side effect if I do such? Like,
Ruth.
I think his network is bad.
Okay, and that was just me because you were also breaking.
I think his network.
There's accounts in my accounts. Then going to make my bank money fix them. I just want to ask, is it going to affect for me?
Okay, so from what I heard you say, because the network is actually very bad, from what I heard you say, you said, is it a must to have the proof of fund, or can you just go to the bank and tell them to like do the proof of fund for you? To be honest, if it works for you, but I don't advise people to do that, because like I feel like, you know, like I've heard of people that, you know, like they submitted proof of fund, and at the end of the day, I've even seen someone, like I read of someone when I was going for my visa interview, that the person submitted proof of fund, they gave the person visa, like give the person white paper, and like when they give you white paper, they collect your passport, but you're supposed to get your passport within 2 to 5 working days. And when the person went back to get the passport, the visa was not there, and there was a paper inside the visa, and they said due to code something. And at the end of the day, we realized that because the person submitted fake proof of fund. So I'm going to say, if it works for you, you can, but like I'm not going to advise you do that. Like I said, you could ask from like your family members that you know are well-to-do, are wealthy, they could put that money in your account, or you could also use their account. You could use their account statement as proof of fund. Like maybe your uncle that is like well-to-do, you could use their account statement for proof of fund, but I would not advise you going to the embassy with a fake proof of account. Although the school will not verify. I feel like most schools don't really verify proof of fund, but the embassy does. And you never can tell how your visa interview will go. Sometimes they ask for your proof of fund. Sometimes they're like, okay, no problem. They might not ask you for your proof of fund, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. So that's all I have to say about proof of fund. It is very tricky, but just make sure you are doing the right thing, because you don't want a situation where they will ban you. Because I know some people, they will tell them, oh, because you submitted proof of fund, fake proof of fund, we are going to ban you for 5 years. And you will not want that situation where they will ban you for 5 years. Like when they ban you, you cannot travel to the US for the 5 years. So, and you won't want that. You wouldn't even want any country to ban you on your passport, because it might affect your visa to other countries as well, particularly the US. It might affect your visa to other countries, so you would not want that. Also, there's another question here. Hi, Ola, please, I'm applying for a fully funded scholarship. Will I need the bank statement? Well, it depends. Your fully funded scholarship, it depends on what the scholarship is covering. Is it covering your tuition? If it's covering your tuition, you still need bank statement for your living expenses. The only way you won't need bank statements is if you get a scholarship that will cover your living expenses and your scholarship. And something I want you to know is when school are giving you living expenses, it's always far expensive. It doesn't mean you will spend that money, but they just want to be, they want to be safe than sorry, because they don't want a situation where you will come to you because you are not living all right, it's affecting you, it's affecting how you are studying. Because of course, if you are not okay mentally, if you are not okay physically, you cannot study. Like you cannot retain information. So they would always hype their living expenses. That is something I want you to know. Schools will always hype their living expenses, because I remember when I was applying, Miami gave me, I think, about 12,000 thereabouts for living expenses, but that is not actually the amount I'm spending for living expenses. So just always note, you can ask them, what does the fully funded scholarship covers? Will it cover my living expenses? If it doesn't, you still have deficits on your I-20. And whenever you have deficits on your I-20, you always need a bank statement to show that, okay, I am able to pay for the deficits. Mitchell, do you have anything to say to that?
No.
Okay, so we have questions on YouTube. Spring or fall, which is better? What are the pros and the cons? I'm always for fall. I'm sorry, I am always.
It's the same thing.
But it's the same thing. Okay, this is it. It is the same thing for undergraduate students. But for graduate students, I am always for fall. But this is undergraduate webinar, so I'm going to say it's the same thing. Whether spring.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just that it's just that when you come, like orientation is boring in the spring. But like in the fall, you have so many activities, so many people to meet, blah, blah, blah. But like spring orientation is just, you'll be only like 5 international students, and it's just,
Yeah.
there's no activity. They just give you a tour around the school. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's the same admission process, same visa, everything is the same.
Yeah.
But then when you get to campus, it won't be fun. And it's be cold. Oh, depends on where you're going.
Yeah, and also know that like it's doing this orientation that you get to meet people, because remember you're international. Like it's doing orientation that you get to meet, oh, this person is also from Nigeria, or oh, this person is also from Africa, and you become friends with them. But irrespective, like anyone, like spring and or fall for undergraduate, same thing. If it's for a scholarship, they have scholarship, so it's the same thing. The pro and the con. Also, the con is that when you are graduating, your graduation is not always lit compared to when you are graduating. If you are graduating in December, the graduation
that's true.
Like it's not like it's not fun, but it's not as excited. Like
it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Like, oh, people are just graduating in December, but like the May graduation is like the real graduation. Of course, everything is real, but you get what I mean. That is when a lot of people are graduating. So yeah. But I'm not sure it has any pro or the con. Just like having, if you don't care about making friends, if you don't care about all those things. But it doesn't mean that if you
exactly, it doesn't mean if you come to the school, you don't have friends.
Exactly, you just meet people. Like, how did I meet this girl? Like, you just meet people randomly. So yeah. Between school accommodation and outside accommodation, which one is the best for freshmen? So you need to know the policy of your school for this. Some schools have a live-in policy for freshmen. What a live-in policy means is that you have to stay on campus if you're a freshman. Some schools, like the Miami University, for instance, they have a 2-year live-in policy. That means for your 2 years, you have to stay on campus. So you need to know the policy of your school. But when asking between school accommodation and outside accommodation, which one is the best? To be honest, I would say school accommodation, because with school accommodation, I feel like it's more structured. Like there's feeding, you don't have to think about feeding. You can, particularly if you're like somebody like that doesn't like to read in their room, there are a lot of study rooms on campus. You can always go to the library. Like everything is in close proximity. You can
and it's easier to like walk.
Exactly.
And if you stay off campus, you just have to get the car, because like you know, you have to get the car.
Maybe your class is 8 and you woke up 7:30. You know that, okay, you can quickly walk to campus. But if you are off campus, you might be like, my class is 8. I woke up 7:30, I will not go. But yeah, so I think for freshmen, but like maybe other places, like when you mature and like maybe you are adult or something, you can look into getting off-campus accommodation. But also know the requirement of your school. If you want to stay off campus, that's totally fine. But know the requirement of your school and make sure that they don't have a live-in policy. How can I get you to help me review my CV and SOP? I am sorry, I am not reviewing CV and SOP, but you can talk to your friends to review CV and SOP for you. I am not reviewing that because I am at a very busy point in my life, and reviewing CV and SOP, statement of purpose, and CV, like you can send that to your friends to review it for you. But right now, I am at a very busy point in my life and I'm unable to offer that right now. But you can tell, maybe before the year runs out, I might actually have that time. But right now, I am actually very busy.
The year runs out.
I might not be able to do that. Okay, so we're going to get to the question. Another question on YouTube. Are international undergraduates eligible to work? Yes, they are eligible to work, but they are eligible to work on campus. They are not eligible to work off campus, except on certain instances. Because I know some people, like certain instances, but it will be approved by your international office. You cannot just say, I want to work off campus and go and work off campus. If you'll be working off campus, there will be a letter that your international office will give you just to make sure that it is legal. Like I said, the US is actually strict on their student policy. International students are not eligible to work except they are eligible, except on campus jobs. But on certain instances, like I said, with the international office backing you up, you can work off campus.
Yeah, and also like if you're asking like international students how to work, like in general, because like when you stay in the US for up to a year, you can apply for internships in companies. Like when you first come, you can't do that. You can apply for internships with companies, but that's with the International Students Office backing you up. You need to get CPT, and it has to be like in line with what you're studying. The company you have to be working like in line with what you're studying. And that's like when you stayed in the US for up to a year. And so, yeah, and that can only be like during your summer or your winter holidays, because you can't, as an international student, you can't work and go to school. Like they're really strict on immigrants. You can't work and you can't go to school. So you can't be working outside when you're like during the semester. You can work during the summer breaks. But that's when the company is in line with what you're studying. You have permission from the International Student Office. And what's the last one?
Yeah, so to add to what you just said, while you are studying, you can work, but you can only work on campus.
You can work
during your break, off campus, permitted you get CPT from the international office. CPT is like a curriculum practical something. Like I said, that's how people have also raised their tuition in the past. Okay, let's take a question from Zoom, because these are the people that register for the webinar. Okay, please, I'm having problems with the education parts of my common app courses and grade parts.
I can't see any messages.
In my common app education section, can I write any GPA or must it tally with my transcripts? Michelle, that is to you. Please answer.
Yes, you cannot write any GPA. It has to be your GPA. It's your GPA you're asking for. It has to
How
be
do they
like
calculate the GPA? Like, how did you calculate your GPA when you were applying?
my school did it. Like my school gave me my GPA. My school was the one that calculated my GPA.
Okay. So you can
So like
actually,
on your transcript, on my I don't know if every school does it, but on your transcript, you see your cumulative GPA there.
okay. And if your school don't do it, I think you can also kind of like have a view of what your GPA is by doing the WES unofficial. If you have money, you can do the official. The official is like $250. If you have the money, you can do it. But if you don't, you can do like an unofficial one, and just so that you do that. But that's that question.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think around the websites that calculate GPA for you. Like you put all your grades from your different years and they'll calculate your GPA for you. You
Okay,
can
yeah.
do that.
And you can just type on Google, like how to calculate GPA for undergraduate students. I'm sure there will be a lot of websites that do it for you for free. So, just use Google as your friend and just type. Or if you have questions, you can also ask them, to be honest. Ask, like, even if you might feel like the question is silly, but if you're unclear, ask questions. That's why they are getting paid. They're getting
Exactly.
question. So ask them questions. Is summer semester the same? I don't understand this question. So maybe you can retype your question. But let's move to YouTube. Let's take question with YouTube. From YouTube.
I mean, I think wait, are you doing nursing? Because there's some schools that admit students during the summer, but it's usually for the nursing program. So yeah, but there's some schools that do summer semester. But yeah, if you're doing summer semester, it's still the same admission process, still the same coming, still the same every. It's still the same process.
Okay, so this question from YouTube. Please, for transfer undergraduate students, is it easy to get a full scholarship? And can you please recommend some schools that give such scholarship? It is the same thing. Undergrad is undergrad. Whether you are transferring or you are starting afresh, undergrad is undergrad. And is it easy to get a full scholarship? It is not. It is still the same process. It is not easy. Can you recommend some schools that give such scholarship? Like she said earlier, just type on Google, need-based schools or need-based scholarship schools. You will find a lot of schools there that give scholarship and kind of see if you meet their requirements. Another question. What is the highest amount that Miami offers for merit-based scholarship? To be honest, I don't know. I don't know if Michelle does. I don't know how much they offer for merit scholarship.
It depends. It depends on the school.
She said
Like
Miami.
if you go to the website, you see everything. It depends on the school. Oh, Miami.
Yeah.
Oh. How much does Miami offer?
I do have like a range.
Honestly, I do not know. Let me check.
And I'm also going to clarify something. Miami university tuition is actually very expensive. So if you know that like you don't really have that much money, I would advise that you apply to other schools because Miami university tuition is actually very expensive. Like it's very expensive. So you can apply to other schools that the tuition is not all that expensive, if you get what I mean. You can apply to other schools that the tuition is not all that expensive. But if you know you have the money, because they'll give you scholarship, but the money you still have to pay is still a lot. So just to clarify that there are other schools in the US that their tuition is not as expensive as Miami. So you can check those schools out.
Okay, so I have the answer to that question.
Okay.
So yeah, Miami has plenty scholarships, but there's this scholarship for international students. It's called the International Education Scholarship.
Okay.
And like international education scholarship ranges from $2,500 to $12,000 a year. So the highest they can give is $12,000 for that particular scholarship. But yeah, there are other scholarships like there's also the Red Hawk scholarships. The Red Hawk scholarship, that's about like 4K to 34K. So yeah, everything just depends on like your GPA and how you present yourself and everything. But yeah, international is from 2K to 12K, and then merit-based scholarships can range from 2K to $34K. $1,000, $34,000.
Okay, let's take more questions. This whole issue of mailing transcripts. Mailing transcript, I don't understand what you mean by the issue. If you are mailing transcripts, your school has to be the one mailing the transcripts, and there's always an address in the school website for official transcript, like an address where you can send the email, where you can send the transcript to. There's either an address, or if it's like an electronic mail, because I know with the advent of COVID, like a lot of schools are now accepting electronic mail. Your school has to be the one sending it. You cannot be the one sending it. Your school with the official whatever has to be the one sending it. So either of those two, but a way to send it.
It's a secondary school that's sending to the university.
Yeah, not you. You're not the one sending mail. If it's official transfer, you're not the one mailing it. Another question. Please, I'm having problem with the education part of my common app courses and grade parts. I think we already explained this earlier. I don't know what you mean by the education part, but the grade part, just Google it, like how you can calculate your GPA as an undergraduate student. I'm sure there are a lot of free websites on Google where you can do that, or you can simply ask your school to help you with the cumulative GPA. Are you post low tuition fee universities for BS in software engineering specifically? And I'm going to post a video on low tuition fee for undergraduate students sometime on the channel, maybe this month, if it could be next month. So just watch out for that. My channel is catching up with Ola. I'm going to put it in the comment section again. You can subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I have a new video up. And you never can tell. I could post it next week. It could be anytime soon. Just watch out for that. Do I need to submit an international evaluation for Miami? I don't think so. Mitchell, please answer that.
What? I didn't hear you. We're breaking up. What do you say?
Do I need to submit an international evaluation for Miami University?
International evaluation?
Like all these WES evaluations to like help you with your GPA. I'm not sure you need to do that, to be honest.
No, I didn't do that.
No, you don't need to do that. Just sort of like calculate your GPA and know what your GPA is, but I'm not sure you need to submit international evaluation. No, you don't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? We'll wait for. Okay, how about living cost per year? What do you mean by how about living cost per year? If your scholarship is not covering that, you have to cover that yourself. But like I said earlier, that schools will hype their living expenses. But I'm not even going to say the hype, because it also depends on how you live. Because I know some people that they are all about the bougie lifestyle. They want to get big things. They want to show that, oh, they have money. If you have the money, but it depends on how you live. But the school will give you the highest living expenses. You can either spend up to that or not spend up to that. Like I said earlier, that when I was applying to Miami, they gave me about 12,000 living expenses. But I did not spend up to 12,000 as living expenses. Like I did not. So just also pay attention to that. So yeah. So the school will give you the highest living expenses for a year, but just note that you might not spend up to that, but you need that proof of fund to apply. Okay. After BSc, how many years OPT? So OPT is for 1 to 3 years. For 1 year, if you are in non-STEM is arts, humanities, you get arts, something that is not STEM, then yes, for 3 years for STEM. Some social sciences courses are STEM, so just pay attention to that and ask your school. Like when you're applying for courses, especially people in social sciences, ask your school, is your course considered as STEM? Because I know
you can also check Google.
You can also check Google. No, some schools, because I know Miami, like the business school at Miami, most of their courses are STEM. They did it because of international students. Like they just shifted most of their courses to STEM so that international students can have more years of OPT. So you can ask your school, like that might be a way for you to even decide on the school you want to go to. You can ask them, like, oh, so this course, is it considered a STEM course or is it not considered a STEM course? Because there are some schools, there are some courses that are not STEM, but like the school will consider it as STEM course. For instance, at Miami, accounting is considered as a STEM course. So just pay attention to that. But art is not STEM. Like there's no way you can maneuver art. If you are studying art, your year of OPT is 1 year. But like from some social sciences courses, there is a way they like maneuver and manipulate something, things like that. So yeah, 1 to 3 years. Can I beg the school to give me full tuition scholarship? Of course you can.
Yes, please beg.
Beg.
Send them 10 emails a day.
Last thing they will say is no, but they can increase your scholarship.
The will say is no. Beg them.
But they can increase your scholarship. But they cannot, because of that, not give you admission. Of course, before you can be begging for full scholarship, make sure you've gotten admission. Make sure you've gotten admission. And maybe when they give you scholarship, you cannot be begging for more scholarship that, okay, you need full tuition. Because I know, like, if you keep begging a school and they've not given you admission, they can, because of that, not give you admission because they are like, okay, if you give this person admission, this person doesn't even have the money to come. So why waste our time on this person when we could give other people admission?
Yeah.
So
they have to be admission first.
Beg, send emails, ask them, copy people, let them know that you need more money. Especially if your application is strong, trust me, they will want you to come to the school and they will give you more money, even though they might not give you full scholarship, but they will give you more money. And sometimes they might even refer you to some scholarships that you can apply to. I know at Miami, they have something that is called the Family Something Fund, which is like alumni, like family fund, like family of parents, like people that come to Miami, like their family, like all these people that are rich now, their family will just give money to the school. They can tell you to apply to those funds, but make sure you're also ask for, like I say, it's the last thing they can tell you, is a no. And if you've grown like a tough skin and you don't get, like, you don't feel bad if you get a no, of course, keep asking. They will just say no, but at least they know you asked. So ask. Is it good to do computer engineering or computer science or software engineering? I think it depends on what you want to do with this. Like, you can do anything you want to do. Computer engineering, computer science, software engineering, whatever your career interest is in. I'm not going to say one course is better than another course. Just ask yourself, what do I want to do with this degree? What do I want to do? Do I want to go to graduate school after? If you want to go to graduate school after, you can start by searching. Okay, so with this course, will I get fully funded graduate school degree? But yeah, like anything goes, to be honest. Software, they are almost within the same line, so anything goes. Okay. Question from YouTube. Miami gave me admission, but my visa was denied 2 days ago. What can I do? Should I apply again immediately? With visa denial, they tell you to wait at least 3 months before you reapply. But you never can tell. You can reapply if you get a date. If not, you can defer the admission. I'm guessing, since you said it got denied 2 days ago, I'm guessing you wanted to come for spring. You can defer the admission till fall and try again. Never be discouraged because you got your visa denied. Like, after I think this week that we are going into, I'm going to post admission story of a girl that got denied and got approved, and she was coming to Miami. She got denied and she got approved. And also, if you can take your classes online, because I know that's something she did. If you can take your classes online, you can. If you can, because I don't know whatever country you sent this question from, but if you can, like, if you've looked at the like internet, time zone, everything, and it favors you, you can start online. But if not, just defer the admission. The fact that you got rejected at first doesn't mean that you would always get rejected. Like I said, I'm going to post the visa story this coming week, so just watch out for that. And you can do that by subscribing and turning on the post notification so that you can hear from somebody that got rejected at first, undergraduate student, and she got approved at the end of the day. So the first denial is not the end of the game. Just, don't give up. That's what I would say. So yeah, you can apply again. You can defer the admission and apply again. Any other question? Okay, so I'm going to give us 5 minutes. If we don't see any other question in 5 minutes, we'll end the live. So let's just wait out for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and like concerning the GPA thing, I went to Miami's website and I saw this link for GPA, like a GPA calculator on Miami's website. I don't know if it's a help. So like, I'll just send the link here. Yeah.
Okay, so the link is in the description box.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'm also going to copy this to YouTube. So just give me a few minutes, I'll be back. So I copied the link to YouTube. So I applied to Miami, but my admission was declined because I was unable to submit an international evaluation. What do I do? What do you mean an international evaluation?
I don't even know what international evaluation means.
What country are you applying from, first off? What country are you applying from? Maybe that can help us reply you. Please put the country you're applying from. She said Nigeria. Is it international transcripts evaluation? Is it like your transcript evaluation? And are you applying for undergraduate freshman? We also need to like know those information. Yes. I don't know. You can write to them and tell them that you don't see anything like international evaluation on their website, because I know some schools are like that. Like when you apply and they just, because Michelle, did you do an international evaluation?
No, I don't know what that is. This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
Just tell them, like, because I know when I was applying for grad school, like there was a school that was like, oh, you don't need to do international evaluation and this and that. And at the end of the day, they were asking me to do international evaluation. And I just told them that on your website, there's nothing like that. So I don't understand why you're asking me. It's like we sent a lot of emails, like it was back and forth, but at the end of the day, I won it because I'm like, yeah, this is what, if you've said something on your website, I would not pay for application fee and then you'll not be changing your mind. So kind of like just send email, revisit it, send them an email, tell them you can't see international evaluation on your website. And also you need to ask yourself, did you calculate your GPA at first? If you did not calculate your GPA, like she said, the link is, she already posted the link. So you can just, read that and kind of like figure out how to calculate your GPA or use Google. Please.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the admission requirements for international students,
okay.
And I'm only seeing like application fee and like academic records, proof of secondary school graduation, and proof of English language proficiency, like if it applies to you. Like I haven't seen any internationals. Just send them an email and ask them what they mean.
Exactly.
Maybe they are referring to something else.
And if you have further question, right, I'm going to put my email in the chat. You can always send me an email. And if I don't know the answer, I can direct your question to Michelle. She can help you figure out your answers. Anyways, let's move on. In the common app education section, they are asking me how many subjects that I do in my secondary school. And I told them 11. And they are asking me an IP and other, but can I choose none after I write? I don't understand. I don't understand your question. Please type your question again. You said, I don't understand the question. Please type your question again so that we can understand better.
There's a question directed to only you, because I can't see it.
No, yeah, it's a direct message.
Oh.
I can post it. Maybe you'll be able to read it. Maybe you understand it better. I'm going to put it to everyone. So, or I will send it to you privately. So you can see if you understand better. But let's move forward. Is proof of funds supposed to be a dollar account or can it be Naira? And is the dollar conversion rate being used 700 Naira to a dollar? Your dollar account can be in any currency. It could be in Naira, it could be in, your proof of fund rather, can be in any currency. It could be in Naira, it could be in dollar. If you have a dollar account, why not? If it's Naira account, you have, why not? And the conversion rate will be CBN rates, not black market rates. So just pay attention to that. The conversion rate will be CBN rates. And I think currently CBN rate is about 450, 460. So yeah, the conversion rate is CBN rates.
Yeah, and yeah, I understand the question. She's asking, yeah, like please, my common app education section, they're asking me how many, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, because like your video is paused. I don't know. So like, please in my Common App education section, they're asking me how many subjects I do in secondary school, and I told them 11, and they're asking me AP, IP, another. But can I choose none after I remember subjects? Yeah, because like AP classes are college classes. They do it here in high school. Like they're those college classes that you take in high school. And if they're asking AP, like they're asking if it's a college class, and no, it's not a college class. So yeah, you can write none, or like I don't know if it's still if I'm thinking about the same thing, but I think there's an option for IGCSE. IGCSE is like, I mean, I think you can also pick IGCSE because IGCSE is like the high school level. Is like you've gotten to the point of IGCSE. IGCSE is the British exam. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got to the point of IGCSE.
Did you write IGCSE?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't write it. The exam was so expensive.
Right.
So, yeah.
I feel like all
My
the
school made it so expensive, so I didn't write it. And plus, I'm coming to the US. I don't have any use for it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Any more question before we end this live? Any more question? Okay, so like I said, we'll give 5 minutes. Once it's 1:20, there's no question, we end the live because can I write weighted in my Common App or unweighted? Michelle, that's
It's weighted. I think if your GPA is over 4, then it's weighted. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, it's unweighted.
He's unweighted. So
No, it's
please.
weighted. No, it's weighted.
Wait, confirm. What are you saying? Is it weighted or unweighted?
Wait. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember what they put for my own.
I think if it is over 4, it should be weighted. But if it is like over 5.0, maybe that might be unweighted. I don't know.
It's unweighted.
Okay.
It's unweighted. Yeah.
Okay, weighted. So yeah. Also, okay, let's see. Let me take this first. How soon do we have to pay the school fees? It depends on the school. It depends on your payment plan. For some people, like they have their payment. If you have a payment plan spread over how many months do we have in a semester? Say January to May, 5 months. Spread over the 5 months, you are good. But if you don't have a payment plan, you don't have a payment plan, like there's no way you are paying. You have to pay your school fees. I think within 2 weeks. For Miami, I don't know of other schools, but for Miami, you have to pay your school fees within 2 weeks of resumption if you don't have a payment plan. After the 2 weeks, they start sending warning to you and they drop you from their course list. Like there's this learning management platform that we use. We call it Canva. They drop you from that Canva. And when they drop you from that Canva, that means you will be unable to submit assignments. You'll be unable to do your syllabus. You'll be unable to do anything. The only thing you can literally do is go to class. You can't submit your assignment because that's
how do you revoke your ID? Your ID will not be able to see your again.
The first time they drop you from that. So they will not tell you that they give you, I think, 2 weeks to get the payments done. If you don't get the payments done within 2 weeks or a week, then they revoke your ID, and that way you are out of status. That means you're in the US illegally because you came here to study, and if you are not studying, you are in the US illegally. So pay attention to that. Then another question. I applied to other schools that are test optional, but was later asked to submit a test score. What do I do? This is you. This is you sending them an email. Like if you told me you have to know, I don't want to say you're right, but you have to know whatever it is that you've seen. If a school, before you apply to a school, they told you that they are test optional and they are telling you to submit SAT, send them an email, copy as many people as you can copy and tell them, when I was applying, like, sit down and beautifully craft your email. I said beautifully, yes. And craft your email, but make sure it is polite. That when I was applying, this school was test optional. And
Yeah,
right
you can attach the link of the website, like the school's website.
Or you can even you can go and copy it and lift it out and send it to them that as per what I saw on your website. And I want you to also know that test optional means that you can choose to submit your score or choose to not submit your score.
Yeah.
You can
Did they say you have to submit the score, or they just give you the option of submitting the score?
So they might give you the option of submitting your score, or if they are telling you that you have to submit your score, remind them that, uncle, auntie, you said it that your school is test optional. So I don't understand what is going on. But don't say it like that, or say it in the polite manner. But I'm just kidding. Anyway. Oh, she said, is it weighted or unweighted? It is unweighted.
Unweighted.
I'm going to reply.
Unweighted.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. And can I start applying to schools in my common app if I have not answered my GPA part in the common app application? You should answer your GPA part, but I think you can also start applying, because to be honest, if you have started applying, application is already open. So start applying. The earlier the better. Also, if you want to get scholarship, I feel like early application also helps you with scholarship. So yeah, just to put that out there, because imagine if a school are going to fund 10 people. Of course, it's going to be on a first come, first serve basis. So always apply early. Okay, question on YouTube. Oh my God, I'm so tired. If I'm to study online, but I'm trying to apply for visa again and see if I can get the dates. My starting date is 18, sorry. Miami University. Yes, I do everything with my Canva. Okay, so the thing is, if you got rejected 2 days ago, from a sister to a sister, I would not advise that you apply for another visa in January again. But you never can tell. Whatever works for you. If you feel at peace with it, go ahead.
Yeah. If you can get the date again.
If you can get the date again and you feel at peace with it, go ahead. Now, why did I say that? Because there are I've heard of people that they got rejected the first time, and the second time the person was like, oh, I saw you got rejected 10 days ago. How come you got a new date? And the person did not even, the video did not even give the person a chance to explain. The person just slammed them rejection. But like I said, if you feel at peace with it, the fact that the person slammed them rejection doesn't mean we've not heard of people that got rejected and they got approved. I know somebody that literally got rejected in December and the person got approved in January again. And the person is in the US. In fact, the person is even done with their studies. So if you feel at peace with your decision, go ahead. And if you're able to get dates, of course, go ahead. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. After this, 4 or 5 more questions after this, and we are done. If you have any other question, you can ask via my email. Please, how can I upload my resume on my common app? How do they upload resume on common?
Oh yeah, you can't upload a document, but you can type out your activities. You see your position or title, then you describe what you did, something like that. Just like how you see the position, the organization. You can't upload a document. You just type it out. You type out your activities. It's under activities. The common app will generate a resume for you, from that. Common app will generate its own resume from what you type.
Okay. I believe that question is answered. Let's move on. In my common app, they are not allowing me to apply to schools unless I answer my education part. Please, how can I go about it? What do you mean the education part?
Yeah, what's in the education part?
What's in the education part have you not been able to answer? Maybe you can drop that in the chat. Also, I'm going to say that I have a support group for people that registered for this webinar. After this, maybe today or tomorrow, you're going to receive an email from me if you want to join the support group. Basically, what the support group is that a lot of people are applying to schools, and when you have questions, you can put it in the group, and somebody that knows the answer would answer you. And it has worked a lot. It has worked for a lot of people. So kind of just finding a way for people to support you while you also support them. So I'm going to give you a chance to join my support group for free. You're not paying for anything. I'm going to send you the link after this webinar, either today or tomorrow, depending on how fast I can get to it. So just so that you also know that. My common app, they are not allowing me to apply to schools unless I answer my education part. How do I do it? My GPA part transcript. I think we already answered the GPA question. She sent a link to this chat talking about GPA. You can use that link, or like we said, check Google or ask your school to calculate your GPA. Ask your secondary school to calculate.
Ask the school to calculate.
But also, because I know there are some schools that like, okay, so there are different type of schools. There are some schools that like maybe a lot of people there don't study abroad. Of course, you don't expect those schools to know how to calculate GPA. That is why she sent the link. Or you can also type on Google, how do I calculate my GPA as an international student? There are a lot of...
But the school gives transcripts. Yeah. I mean, with your transcripts, you can calculate your GPA on Google.
So that's that. Let's see if we have more questions on YouTube. Oh, the jump board. Let's see. Well, you said my principal said that he can only give me my transcript unless I write my WAEC finish. I don't know. Did you tell them that, like, I think at that point, like, you have to like tell them that you are applying abroad. You need to apply as fast as possible. So if you can tell your principal that, like, tell them, oh, I'm applying to a school in the US. Like, why would you be holding on to transcripts?
Exactly. It's not your right.
I'm paying my school fees now. So why should you be holding on to my transcript?
Holding on to my transcript.
He said, yes, I told him, well, I'm not sure we know how. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. I don't know. But did you try emailing the school? But wait, you can't get, like, there's nothing, like, your transcript has to be there. They have to send
transcript has to be there.
Admission. Transcript helps them to know what you've done before and where they can place you. For instance, like, there are a lot of freshmen. There are a lot of freshmen that are still taking high school courses. That is the advantages of transcript. It helps them to know what you know. So there's no way a school will give you admission without your transcripts. There's no transcript, there's no WAEC results. There's no way a school will give you admission without it. So you might have to wait, like your principal said, you might have to wait a while, write your WAEC, and maybe apply for admission when you are done with all of those. But without transcript, there's no WAEC results. There's no way a school will give you admission. Except another thing you can do is maybe write SAT. But before you write SAT, ask the school, explain your situation to them, and ask them if they can give you admission based on your SAT alone. I don't know if they do that, but like I said, you can always ask.
Yeah, you can always ask. There's nothing wrong with asking.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing wrong with asking. So
yeah, and then ask them if you can like send your transcripts later, like after your WAEC.
Yeah.
Do you have to wait for the WAEC result to be out? Or does she have to, does it?
See what she said.
Because the WAEC
until she finishes writing her WAEC. I'm not sure she has to wait for the WAEC to be out, or until she finishes writing her WAEC. So we'll see. Any other question? Okay. If I start my application on July, can I get admission this year? For spring, yes, you can. July.
July.
Yeah.
He said this year. Get admission
like
for
she can get, if she starts her application in July this year, she can get admission for spring, January 2024.
Yeah. But not for fall 2023.
You can't get for fall. No, fall, you can't get for fall 2023. You can't. In fact, it's not advisable because you also need to also for visa dates. So it's not advisable. So if you start in July,
even if
January 2024.
Yeah, even if some applications are open, there's no scholarship, they won't give you anything because like they've already finished giving out their money.
Exactly. So, but if you feel at peace with it, you can apply. When can you apply for fall? Application is already opened right now for fall.
Yeah, since October.
So a lot of people have already applied. So when you can start, if you are applying for fall, you can start applying from now on because application is open. But anything after March, it's very dicey.
March.
It's a dicey situation. Anything after March or at most April. Any other question?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
I mean,
afternoon.
good evening.
Good afternoon, whatever.
Oh, joy.
Oh, joy.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, sorry. So I came late. I was very busy doing something. I wanted to know if MSc studying abroad is the process, and I don't know when they started. So I just joined the meeting. Not quite long. So
Masters,
I
right?
have I have HND in accounting already in Nigeria.
Okay,
So
so I already answered your question before you came here. You kept your question. First off, this is an undergraduate webinar, but I'm going to answer your
okay,
question. So on HND, let me look for the link and put it in the chat section. Let me look for the link.
okay,
I already reviewed schools that accept HND for masters. So yes, you can get a fully funded admission with your HND. I'm going to send you the link to that video. Okay, here it is. So okay, so I just sent you the link.
okay. I'll check it after the meeting.
So this person is still asking, if I collect my transcript in July, like when can I start? You cannot apply for fall, except if you're applying for fall 2024. If you're applying for fall 2024, of course, you can start applying from that July downwards. But if you're applying for fall actually begins in August. So imagine you're just applying in July for something that will begin in August. And then you have a lot of process. You're going to wait for your I-20. You're going to wait for admission decision. Let's imagine that you apply July 1. It takes like 2 weeks for them to get you the admission decision. For them to send your I-20, it takes them another 2 weeks. Like school already resumed, then you have to also for visa dates. So I'm not going to advise that you apply for fall admission in August of the same year. But if you're talking about for 2024, technically admissions start opening around that July, August, or September. But you could literally apply for spring, which is January 2024. So, yeah. It's not about other schools that accept MSc for masters, either funded or any country in the abroad. I'm going to say that most schools in the US fund masters. Like you should get funding for your masters. And you can check on my channel. Like I've reviewed a lot of courses that offer fully funded masters. I've reviewed philosophy, like even courses that you think they don't have full funding. I'm telling you that they have full funding. And some of the time you don't even have to write the exam. So go to my channel, browse through all the videos, whichever one aligns with your interests or whichever one aligns with your course of study. Just check those videos. And if you don't see anyone, you can go ahead and watch my admission story, how I did it. But most of the time it's easier for postgraduate students, which is masters and PhD, to get fully funded because you will be working for the school and they will pay your tuition. And most of the time it's always full tuition. So I believe I've answered that. Can I email you? Yes, you can email me. I'm going to put in my chat. Please put my email in the description box. I don't know why I keep saying chat box. Okay, my friend us writing WAEC in another school. Can she collect a transcript from there? What do you think, Mitchell? Like when you're writing your WAEC.
I mean, she's not taking classes. She's just going there to write WAEC.
You can't take your transcript from there. Take your transcript from your school.
No, from your school.
And when you're adding education, you can just add, do you get like, maybe you add that you did WAEC in another school, but take your transcript from your school because other schools don't have your transcript. They don't have your results.
Exactly, yeah, they don't have your results. So they can't do your transcript.
Please, what is the highest scholarship given to early applicants? I don't know. It depends on the school you're applying to be honest. It might be need-based, it might be merit-based. There are different scholarships in the US, but make sure you're applying a scholarship. But there's no specific to what is the highest scholarship. There's no specific amount. Just know the school you're applying and also apply early for scholarship. But it doesn't mean that if you apply late, you won't get scholarship. It just depends on the applying. So, BSc, I mean, I don't understand this question. Can you add me to some USA group? Like I said, after this, I would give you access to my support group. So if you register for the webinar, you'll be receiving a message from me either today or tomorrow, depending on when I'm able to get to it. But you receive a message before the end of this week where I'll give you access to my webinar, and then I'll also, send like a follow-up message to each of you. So just so you know that. Are you eligible to open a bank account as an international student? Yes, if you mean in the US, yes, you are eligible. That should even be the first thing you should do when you get to the US.
Yeah.
To open a bank account. Because especially if you are working on campus, there's no way they will pay you if you don't have a bank account. They don't give cash, they send to your bank. So yeah, you're eligible to answer your question. Okay, but if she's collecting a transcript from my real school, and she's getting a WAEC from a different school, yeah, it works. Like she can get a transcript. Of course, when you are stating your education, you are stating your real school as your education, and like you can add other education. For instance, myself, like if I was actually going to do like my bachelor's in the US, I went to 3 schools for my secondary school. So you just keep adding, and if you have the time, you can get all your transcript from the 3 schools. So you can keep adding. You can keep adding the schools. You can add more than 1 school. So add your real school, add the school you are getting your WAEC or
the school you're getting your WAEC from, there's no way they'll calculate your transcripts. Like all they want to do, they don't have any results. Like you're not a student of their school. They don't have any of your results. So there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can calculate for your transcripts.
Yeah, I hope you answered the question. Who is going to help us submit our transcript? Your real school is going to help us submit our transcripts. The real school that she went to, where she can get her transcript. Like transcript is a lot. It's not just something that anybody can just come up with. It's a lot. I feel like that is what we even determine the admission, because they feel like, okay, so this person is able, like this person has the required knowledge and everything to fit into freshman year. Like I said, there are still some people in freshman that they are still taking high school courses because of the transcript they submitted. So transcript is not just something that you can just give anybody to come up with. It has to be the school you went to. And so I think
like on Common App, you can, I think there's a place where you put your schools, your secondary schools, I don't know, golden brush, but you put your secondary school's email address, and Common App will send them an email telling them to submit your transcripts. Like, I don't know if it gets, like, they'll send the school an email and the school will submit your transcripts for you. Like, you can't just submit your transcripts.
Okay, we are ending the webinar now, but they have transferred that teacher. Your school always has a record. I don't understand what is going on. Your school always has a record. So whether they transfer teacher or not, your teacher that is even preparing your transcripts is your academic
teacher that's preparing your transcripts.
So this is a secondary school now. You don't have just one teacher. You have different teachers teaching you different subjects. It's not a primary school where you have like a centralized teacher. You have a record. So it's your record they are sending, not a teacher that is just writing anything. 3 more minutes and I feel like I've been saying 3 more minutes, 5 more minutes, but 3 more minutes and we are ending. If you have any question, you can email me and so Yeah. Okay, I think we should just start saying our final statements. Thank you so much for joining this webinar, and I hope that you take the audacious steps to apply. Like
Mhm.
I said earlier, the first step is researching schools, and if you have like any question, you can send it to my email. If you check through my YouTube channel, you see like ways to contact me. I'm on IG, I'm on Telegram, I'm on IG, I'm on everything, and everything is on my YouTube channel. So you can click on those links to have like a personal communication with me. And just make sure you're taking the step. It's not just about attending webinars, it's about, are you willing to like take the step? Are you willing to put in the extra effort? So whatever you do today, make sure you're putting in the extra effort. And I also want to say thank you to our host, and I would also want to say thank you to her for taking out of our time to come talk to you today, because trust me, I am not paying them anything, but for her to say, okay, I'll be willing to do this for you, is something that I really appreciate. So thank you, and also thank you for taking your time to attend the webinar. And yeah, just go out there and be amazing. Go out there and ask your questions. Go out there and do the things you want to do. And with God on your side, of course, you will get the admission. With God on your side, you will get scholarship. With God on your side, you come to the US. And maybe one day we could do a meet or greet. Who knows? But yeah. So enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll see you in the US. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Let me
All right, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to end this call, Michelle, but I think I'm going to call you. Michelle already left.